Hello, welcome back. Hey, Bible scholars. Yeah, that's you. If you clicked on that video and you're reading through the Bible with me, you're a Bible scholar. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Taneza. I'm the mom of 3 hilarious children living in the heart of New York City. I have never, ever read the Bible before, so 2023 is the year that we read the entire Bible, because I'd love to have you on this adventure with me. All you have to do is to smash that subscribe button below. If you are already a Bible scholar, make sure you have your notifications on so that you know as soon as I post a new video. All right, let's get started, guys. I'll be reading from the NIV, New International Version, but whatever translation that you have, stick with it. If you do not have a Bible, don't worry, I'll do a screenshot of all the verses that I read out loud. Okay? All right, so get excited, guys. We have finished Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and now we are on Deuteronomy. So today's video, I'll do a background of the book of Deuteronomy, and we will be reviewing chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's get started. All right. Deuteronomy is the 5th and the last book of the Torah. Chapters 1 through 30 consist of 3 sermons delivered to the Israelites by Moses on the plains of Moab shortly before they enter the Promised Land. So chapter 1, Moses. And in my notes I have, can you imagine that he has been doing this for 40 years? That's a strong man. He tells the Israelites that God has commanded them to leave Horeb. I wanted to read verses 12 and 13 of chapter 1 of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 12. But how can I bear your problems and your burdens and your disputes all by myself? Verse 13, choose some wise, understanding, and respected men from each of your tribes, and I will set them over you. So leaders are appointed. I didn't remember that the Israelites were able to choose who they put forth as leaders, but they do. So that's the first part of chapter 1 of Deuteronomy. The second part, spies are sent out to investigate Kadesh Barnea. I wanted to read for you verse 21 of chapter 1. See, the Lord your God has given you the land. Go up and take possession of it as the Lord, the God of your fathers, told you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. And then the third part of chapter 1, the Israelites are grumbling against the Lord. I wanted to read for you verse 35. Not a man of this evil generation shall see the good land I swore to give your forefathers, except for Caleb. But also Moses will not see the promised land. Joshua will. Which I think I was kind of sad for him, because for 40 years, like, he was the go-between between the Israelites and God. The Israelites rebelled against the Lord. Moses told them to not go up and fight because the Lord will not be with them. And in verse 43, so I told you, but you would not listen. You rebelled against the Lord's command, and in your arrogance you marched up into the hill country. So therefore they were defeated. Chapter 2, there's 2 parts in this chapter. The first part breaks down the Israelites' wanderings in the desert, and then the second part are directions on how to defeat the Sihon, king of Heshbon. I wanted to read for you verses 26, 27, and 28 of chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 26. From the desert of Kedemoth, I sent messengers to Sihon, king of Heshbon, offering peace and saying, verse 27, let us pass through your country. We will stay on the main road. We will not turn aside to the right or to the left. Verse 28, sell us food to eat and water to drink for their price in silver. Only let us pass through on foot. The king refuses. He says no. Verses 32 and 33. When Sihon and all his army came out to meet us in battle at Jahaz, verse 33, the Lord our God delivered him over to us, and we struck him down together with his sons and his whole army. They were defeated. Chapter 3, Deuteronomy chapter 3, the Lord tells the Israelites to do to Og, king of Bashan, the same thing they did in the previous chapter to Sihon, king of Heshbon. Verse 3 and verse 4 of chapter 3. So the Lord our God also gave into our hands Og, king of Bashan, and all his army. We struck them down, leaving no survivors. Verse 4, all that time we took all his cities. There was not one of the 60 cities that we did not take from them. The whole region of Argob, Og's kingdom in Bashan. Second part of chapter 3 reviews the division of land. And then the third part of chapter 3, Moses is forbidden to cross the Jordan. I wanted to read for you guys verse 25 and 26. Verse 25, let me go over and see the good land beyond the Jordan, that fine hill country of Lebanon. Verse 26, but because of you, he's speaking to the Israelites, the Lord was angry with me and would not listen to me. That is enough, the Lord said. Do not speak to me anymore about this matter. Chapter 4, obedience is commanded. I wanted to read for you verse 9. Deuteronomy 4, verse 9, only be careful and watch yourselves closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen or let them slip from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to your children after them. Also in chapter 4, idolatry is forbidden. It says in verse 23, be careful not to forget the covenant of the Lord your God that he made with you. Do not make for yourselves an idol in the form of anything the Lord your God has forbidden. There is a consequence for having idols. In verse 27, the Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and only a few of you will survive among the nations to which the Lord will drive you. In verse 31, the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon or destroy you or forget the covenant with your forefathers, which he confirmed to them by oath. And then the Lord is God. I wanted to read for you all verses 39 and 40 in chapter 4. Verse 39, acknowledge and take to heart this day that the Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth below. There is no other. Verse 40, keep his decrees and commands, which I am giving you today, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, and that you may live in the land, and that you may live long in the land the Lord your God gives you for all time. Moses sets aside 3 cities of refuge east of the Jordan. Chapter 5, verse 1 says, Moses summoned all Israel and said, hear, O Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. And then we get the 10 commandments. Commandment number 1, no other gods before me. No idols. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath. Keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness against your neighbor. do not covet. And I wanted to read for you the final verse of Deuteronomy chapter 5. And some of you guys know, some of you may be new to the Bible reviews, but my now husband, gave me this Bible in 2006 when we were dating. And so I always like to read for you guys verses that have been underlined. And I wanted to read for you guys verse 33. Walk in all the way that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess. Love it. Love it. All right, Bible scholars. As always, any questions, comments, concerns, or revelations, drop them in the comments below. Our next video will be a review of Deuteronomy chapters 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome week. Awesome week. And I will see you in the next review. Bye for now.